Oh, okay.
We don't want to count down.
Well, I did count down.
Oh, I was...
All right. Dom and Johnny in the morning.
All right. So, at a loss for topics, I did what any self-respecting martial art would do and went to the internet.
Yeah.
And something popped out, and it was as far as, martial arts media breakdown. And it made me think about one of my absolute favorite cartoons of all time, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Have you watched Korra?
I have.
Okay.
And I love it. And the fact that they're making a third...
Yep. There's apparently going to be a bunch of them because they're going to do a movie of the Aang gang.
Yeah.
When they're a little older. Yeah. Or the gang. Yeah. It's the...
Or Gong, if you're M. Night Shyamalan.
There is no M. Night Shyamalan movie, Dominic. There is no Shyamalan movie in Ba Sing Se.
And I thought it was cool because being in a style with so many styles within, we get a chance to see a lot of the different styles they use in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I've heard different breakdowns of what they think, water bending, where it came from. Well, that one's pretty easy. But where they think fire bending came from and earth bending. I've heard some different takes. I have my thoughts, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to kind of go through, each one of the bending styles and kind of where we think it got its influence and where you can find it within our art, if you can at all.
Yeah, well, one of the things that was really interesting, because there is another podcast called Braving the Elements, where the voice actors for Korra and Zuko go episode by episode and talk to the people who made it and all the behind the scenes stuff. One of the things that's people love about Avatar, including me, is that there is a very intentioned philosophy that it's, for lack of a better term, its magic system, which is all the bending, should be grounded as opposed to just being able to happen. So, which is where the martial arts part of it comes in, where every bending move, there's gotta be some sort of physical skill set that channels basically the telekinesis that allows you to use that element. And yeah, it's really interesting how they use different styles sometimes to manipulate the same element, which I'm sure we can get into. But yeah, which one do you want to start with?
We could start with what I think is the easiest and probably the best place to start, which is air.
The easiest?
Well, I don't know. I think it's the easiest.
Yeah?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, okay. Go for it.
Maybe I just put my foot in my mouth.
Maybe.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Because depending on what you're doing, or what Aang is doing. Oh, wow. I almost said Aang.
You were about to get exiled from this podcast.
Whatever Aang is doing, sometimes it looks a little different. But, just the garb alone, really presents that, Shaolin Kung Fu monk kind of feel. And if you look at a lot of the movements he does, including just creating that ball of air, which, in Shaolin and in Tai Chi, you'll see often them, using their arms, kind of creating that sphere, that ball of, what some will call energy, and just the acrobaticness and the yielding. I think those are the big things that kind of really make me think of Shaolin Kung Fu, especially in Korra, when Korra is starting to learn airbending and she has to yield to the spinning, I don't know what they are, doors, whatever they are.
Oh, yeah, they're like panels that rotate. Yeah.
And if she doesn't yield to them, then she'll get nailed.
That footwork, by the way, we teach in Ningli.
Yeah. Which I think comes from Bagua.
Yes, actually, all of airbending is based off of Bagua.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, so the martial artist that they consulted on is this guy named Sifu Kisu, who I can't remember his name, but the sword master from Book 3, his image is based off of Kisu.
Oh, cool.
So Sifu Kisu is the one they consulted and the one who kind of matched martial arts to the elements. Bagua, the reason I was just, because Bagua is the most esoteric of the martial arts that he picked. And also, it's, like you said, it's not really a one-to-one match. There's a lot of Bagua in there. Like, in the first episode, you can see while Zuko is fighting Aang in his room, and Aang is on the outside superior position, like on his spine. That's like a Bagua practice.
Yeah.
But there's also just general acrobatics, because Bagua is like a little too specific for all of the different things they wanted to do with airbending.
And that's where it kind of stems into more of the stuff that looks kind of more like Long Fist, right? That
Yeah.
Aang does.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to kill. I made one joke, and now I keep saying Aang.
Yeah, I know. It's
Next, I'll say Sokka.
This podcast is going to start to be called And Johnny.
To be fair, I saw that movie in theaters because I was so excited.
Yeah.
So excited that I went to the midnight showing. I don't even know if they do that anymore.
They do, yeah.
I went to the midnight showing of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I was so amped for this, and it was so boring.
Right.
That I fell asleep.
And, like, speaking of it, like, it betrayed the premise of the show that people fell in love with, which is the idea that bending is connected to martial arts. So, you know, there's a scene in that movie where, like, there's a bunch of earthbenders and they do this really long, complex form, and it moves a small CGI boulder kind of across the screen lazily that has no connection to any of the movements they're doing. It's literally like a Karate Camp movie.
It is
like,
crazy, you know, and they hit, like, the best part. They did, like, one thing in the trailer, and it looked so good.
Yeah.
Like, where an earthbender is pulling up, just a massive slab of rock before, they get hit by, fire. And I was like, that is awesome. That may have been, like, the only well done, like, scene in the whole, and I think that was part of the same scene. But, like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, the one thing I did like about the live action movie, like, the interesting idea that I'm like, I could see that, is the idea they actually need fire to bend, like, because in the show, like, they can create their own fire through their breath, but in the movie, like, you would need, like, a torch, like, you'd have to have a fire already there to bend.
I thought the whole point of we're getting off the rails, but
yeah.
I thought the whole point of Aang and Zuko learning that form together was to create fire out of nothing.
No, I think the point was to reconcile an emotional blockage that both of them had. Because Zuko's fire was generated from his anger. So when he had confronted his father, it kind of dissolved a lot of the anger that he drew his fire from. And Aang was blocked because of his fear, because he burned Katara the first time he tried firebending.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it was more of like they were trying to philosophically reconcile that fire is a destructive force, but it's also a creative force. Like, we as people wouldn't have developed civilization without fire, because we'd be cold in a cave. So it was the fire helps you cook the food so you don't get sick by eating icky food. Like, yeah.
That's true. I've cooked some questionable things before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is questionable. I better cook it a little extra.
You don't,
I'm not
you don't
about
like
to throw away food.
Chicken tartare. Anyway.
Gross.
So did you have anything else with air?
No, I think that's it. That definitely sums it up. You definitely see the Bagua. You definitely see some of the long fist in there, with the acrobatics, and some of the longer movements.
And the qigong too, like you were mentioning.
The ball,
yeah. Like it just, and it's interesting because a lot of qigong is just breathing practices, and what is breath but air.
And even his meditation, which I've had students before that when we'd do our adept pose, which if you don't know what that is, that's when we kneel at the beginning and end of class. That is adept pose. So kneeling on the insteps of your feet are on the ground, hands are on your legs, fingertips slightly point into each other, back straight, in through the nose, out through the mouth. But I would have students that would want to sit cross-legged with their fists into each other, just like Aang does.
Yep.
So Yeah.
Well, and just before we leave air, the one little note I want to pop into is it's also interesting in Korra because it's the similar benders, but you get to see a fusion of different styles. So when she finally unlocks airbending, she's more of a boxer. So she's not doing a lot of the soft yielding movements. She's using a lot of the soft yielding footwork, but her striking work is float like a butterfly. So it's like she's hitting more linearly and more quickly. So the same element can have two sides to it.
That sounds a lot like Master Valari. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Using Shaolin principles with more Kempo or boxing movements.
Yeah.
And he was a big boxer, but he didn't hit like a boxer. He moved like a boxer, but hit like a Chinese martial artist.
Yeah.
So very cool. All right, that's a neat connection.
Yeah.
So I picked the first one. What are we doing next?
Well, we already started getting into fire a little bit. So, and I think it's interesting to go in that order because fire bending is also very tied to the breath. The difference is that instead of the breath energizing you, the breath externalizes as a flame.
Yeah. And that one... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, the martial art that Sifu Kisu tied to it was Northern Shaolin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks just like Northern Long Fist.
Yeah.
And even... it's funny that they based the Swordmaster on him.
Yeah.
Because clearly doing, more Northern style straight sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much picture perfect. Yeah, I really love, so when I did my few years of traditional Kung Fu, that movement that they do when they bend lightning.
Yeah.
With the fingertips as they come through and shift their weight.
Yep.
That is something that they actually do. That's actually basics. You'll do that from one end of the room to the other.
Yeah.
In a Kung Fu class. So yeah, that is. I can definitely see the long fist in there.
Well, and you can even see if you watch a lot of how Zuko moves, you see the crescent kick side kick. It's in episode 3. So you get to see a lot of the movements we train in some of our forms directly in that show.
So a lot of the Ningli North is a lot of long fist for you trainers out there.
Yeah.
Cool. That one was an easy one.
Yeah. So you get to pick. We got 2 more.
Earthbending.
Yeah.
Which is pretty easy to recognize if you're in the martial arts world as Hungar.
Yep.
Yeah. So Hungar is Black Tiger Kung Fu, which depending on who you talk to is either in or not in our system.
Right.
So you definitely see references to Black Tiger in, if you know, and this is not many people actually know this form that are listening, but for those who know Invincible Wall, the beginning salutation and breathing is clearly a nod to Hungar Kung Fu. You see that movement in the openings to many of their forms. And then some of the tiger work we do, specifically the 12 hands of the tiger, do any of the second degrees know that or have ever touched on it?
Maybe we did a seminar with 12 hands of the tiger in 2014 or 2015. So maybe some really long time training students remember that there was a seminar. Yeah.
So it's my understanding, and I've shown it to people before, and whenever they see it, they say that's Black Tiger. We don't specifically say that in our school, but also from just some research that I've done, and you too, it does seem that any reference to a wounded tiger tends to be from the Black Tiger system.
Hungar is known for its very rooted movements. So, like you said, whether or not Invincible Wall has some Hungar in it, one of the principles of that form is finding rooting and making sure you're generating power through your legs. Interestingly, Toph, who is the best earthbender, her style is Southern Praying Mantis. So they very specifically did something very different with her. So that's why her hands, like, they kind of tilt back a little, like the little mantis pincers, but upside down. And her she kind of toes in a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about southern praying mantis, but I know that she's an exception to most earthbending styles. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh.
Yeah. No, when I think of earthbending, now I'm just trying to picture Toph moving now, and I'm thinking about it. But that root, especially the arm movements, I'm doing it, and I know that anyone watching can't actually see me doing it. But if you go online and watch like tiger crane form from Hunkar, which is their most popular form, you'll see a lot of the stuff just in that one video that you'll see earthbenders doing, which is pretty cool.
Which leaves water.
It does leave water, unless we're going into like metal, which is the sub.
Yeah, well, parts. I don't know what metal is based off of. Do you?
No, I don't know if it's still Hungar or if they change things a little bit for those. Like, same with lava bending, but I feel like the earthbenders, man, they really got a lot of the cool subset. Oh, I guess water bending is blood bending.
Yeah, I don't think metal bending is actually based on anything.
Interesting.
Like, Toph was the original metal bender, and of course we talked about she's based off of southern praying mantis, but in Korra, when you have like the metal bending police, there's not really a martial art they use. They just have like, they just like punch, and then like a cable shoots out.
Yeah.
So it's not quite... Yeah, it's not quite as distinct, that was kind of the direction Korra was going in anyway, because part of Korra's aesthetic is it's more like a 1920s, except if the industrial 1920s in America happened in China, that was kind of the idea. And a lot of their martial arts are mixed martial arts, very specifically, because the idea is once there's not a war dividing the four nations, and they start to mix together, you're not going to see a lot of separation. Kind of like Iroh teaching the lightning redirection, which is based off of water bending. You see more blended styles.
But water
is Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So it's all about weight shifting. It's an internal style. Excuse me. In Tai Chi, like even in our form, there's a sequence you learn called single whip, water whip. Mm-hmm. And it's not really, it can become solid, which is why a lot of things turn to ice, but it's mostly a fluid style. You brought up blood bending, which is the icky one, which that is based off of puppeteering. So it's not really a martial art, but the physical movements are based off of something.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? When Katara blood bends, you see that flex in her hands.
Yep.
Almost like tiger.
Yeah.
Like she's starting to bring like some tiger into Tai Chi, which there are tiger Tai Chi forms. So.
Yeah. Well, and just to bring up the mixed style thing, there's really interesting if you hang out in the fandom enough. When she originally fought the bloodbender lady whose name I'm forgetting, there's like this moment where the bloodbender lady does like some big water wave, and you see Katara root in a horse stance and then shove her hands to the side, almost like shut on Kwa. And the theory is that Katara fought enough earthbenders that she picked up an earthbending move that she applied to her waterbending. Same with the season 2 finale. Zuko has this moment where he basically does like the lift and push from Tai Chi to create a wheel of fire. So it's like a water bending move, but expressed as fire bending. So the idea is just that, even if you're born with one element, you should be looking to other cultures and styles to take what serves you.
That's cool. That's cool. And to throw one more application to us, if you are doing the Tai Chi form, when you do that two-handed push, I've had Master Ken talk about sometimes when you're doing that push, to start to push, and then as you're getting to the end, to release the potential instead of finishing the blow, and then I've had other Tai Chi instructors who will get to that point and they'll release it.
Yeah.
And that would probably be like the water versus fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even in our system, we've talked about diaphragmatic breathing. Another word for it is water breathing, which contrasts with fire breathing, which is more of like this external breath that's audible. And you can't do too much fire breathing, or else
you go crazy.
Yeah, it throws off your balance a little bit. So I wonder if it's that same kind of thing where it depends on if you're trying to activate or ground. Well, and there's also the non-bending styles, because Avatar has plenty of non-benders.
Yeah.
So Sokka is the first one to talk about. He becomes a sword practitioner toward the end of the first series.
And even pretty darn good with the fan from the Kyoshi Warriors.
Yeah, I've seen one theory that Sokka is meant to represent being the avatar of non-benders, because he learns the non-bending styles of each nation. So the fan was an earth style. The sword was a fire style. The boomerang, yeah. And I can't remember what the air one was. Just because you don't have bending magic powers doesn't mean you're useless in the Avatar world, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Dom and Johnny in the morning.